What if you read one proverb a day for 31 straight days? What would happen to your wisdom, your decisions, and the way you see the world? This question touches on something most people have lost: the ability to absorb ancient wisdom and apply it to modern life. The book of Proverbs is not a common religious text. It is a manual of practical wisdom compiled over centuries. 31 chapters, one for each day of the month. It is no coincidence. It was designed to be read in monthly cycles so that wisdom would slowly infiltrate your mind. We are not talking about rushing through it like you read news or social media. We are talking about reading one chapter per day, slowly, thinking about each verse, letting the words reveal layers of meaning. 31 days, 31 chapters, 915 verses of condensed wisdom about money, relationships, work, discipline, justice, and character. It seems ancient. It seems irrelevant. But when you actually read it, you realize it is frighteningly current. The book of Proverbs was written primarily by Solomon, the king who, according to the Bible, asked God for wisdom instead of wealth or power, and received both. But beyond Solomon, there are contributions from other sages: Agur, Lemuel, and anonymous compilers who gathered proverbs from different eras. What makes this book unique is that it is not about abstract theology. It is about how to live well, how to make wise decisions, how to avoid traps that destroy lives, how to build solid character in a world that values appearance. Each proverb is like a seed. When you read fast, it seems just a nice sentence. But when you stop and think, that seed germinates. It connects with your experience. It reveals something you always knew but could never articulate. And slowly, month after month, if you repeat the cycle, this wisdom changes the way you think and act. There is a difference between information and wisdom. Information is knowing that tomatoes are fruits. Wisdom is knowing you do not put tomato in fruit salad. We live in the age of infinite information. You can search anything on Google. But wisdom does not come from quick search. Wisdom comes from deep reflection on truths tested by time. Proverbs offers that. It offers distillations of truths about human nature that remain constant across millennia. Greed still destroys. Laziness still impoverishes. Pride still precedes fall. Wisdom still builds houses where foolishness tears them down. These truths have not changed, but our ability to recognize and live them has weakened because we are too busy consuming information that does not transform into wisdom. Now I will explain exactly how this challenge works. For 31 consecutive days, every day at a fixed time you choose, you will open the book of Proverbs and read the chapter corresponding to the day of the month. If it is the 1st, you read chapter 1. If it is the 15th, you read chapter 15. If it is the 31st, you read chapter 31. Simple as that. You need a physical Bible, not digital. Something about holding the book, turning pages, underlining verses, creates deeper connection than scrolling screens. Read slowly. Do not rush. If a verse impacts you, stop. Reread. Think about it. Write it down if you want. You are not trying to finish fast. You are trying to absorb wisdom. Some chapters are short, less than 20 verses. Others are longer. It does not matter. You read the chapter of the day, reflect on it, and then go on with your day carrying that wisdom. What can you realistically expect from these 31 days? First, improve discernment. Proverbs teaches you to recognize patterns. Patterns of behavior that lead to success or failure. Patterns in people you should trust or avoid. Patterns in your own choices that need to change. After a month reading about these patterns, you start seeing them in real life. You meet someone and think, this is exactly what Proverbs warns about. This discernment protects you from costly mistakes. Second, increased self-knowledge. Proverbs is brutally honest about human nature. It does not romanticize. It does not excuse. It exposes. And when you read, you will recognize yourself. You will see your own flaws described there. Your laziness, your pride, your loose tongue, your impulsiveness. And this recognition is painful, but necessary, because you can only change what you admit. Third, wiser decisions about money. Proverbs has extensive advice on finances, about not getting into debt, about working hard, about not seeking quick wealth through schemes, about generosity balanced with prudence. If you apply even half of what Proverbs teaches about money, your financial life will improve dramatically. Fourth, healthier relationships. Proverbs talks a lot about friendships, marriage, family, about choosing wise company, about the weight of words, about forgiveness and boundaries, about how the fool repeats mistakes while the wise learn. When you absorb this, you stop tolerating toxic relationships out of misplaced loyalty. You learn to value who really adds. Fifth, strengthened character. Proverbs is obsessed with character, integrity, honesty, discipline, humility, justice. These are not fashionable values today, but they are values that build lasting lives. And when you read about them every day for a month, they begin to shape who you are. Now I want to ask you an honest question. Do you really seek wisdom or just seek confirmation for what you already decided to do? Because Proverbs does not confirm. Proverbs challenges. Proverbs confronts. And if you are not ready to be confronted, maybe this is not the challenge for you yet. But if you are, if you really want to grow, comment here. I need wisdom. You do not need to explain. Just recognize that you need it. Let me give you the practical step by step. First step, get a physical Bible. Any translation works, but some are more accessible than others. NIV, ESV, NLT, any of these works well. If you do not have a Bible, buy a cheap one or borrow one, but it needs to be physical. Second step, choose your fixed time. Morning works well for many people because you start the day with fresh wisdom, but night also works if you prefer reflecting before bed. What matters is consistency, same place, same time, every day. Third step, prepare your space. A quiet place where you can read without interruption. It can be at the kitchen table before everyone wakes up. It can be in bed before getting up. It can be during lunch break at work. Find your place. Fourth step, open to the chapter of the day. If today is the 7th, you read Proverbs 7. It does not matter if you started the challenge on the 15th of the month. You always read the chapter corresponding to the current day. This keeps you synchronized and allows you to repeat the cycle every month if you want. Fifth step, read slowly and out loud if possible. Reading out loud forces you to slow down, forces you to process each word. And there is something powerful about hearing wisdom with your own ears. Sixth step, pause on verses that impact you. If something resonates, stop, reread. Think about how that applies to your life now, not just in general. Specifically, what is this verse saying to you today? Seventh step, write down a key verse. Get a notebook or use the margin of the Bible itself. Choose one verse from the chapter that spoke to you most. Write the date beside it. Over time, you will have a record of what God or wisdom was highlighting for you at different moments. Eighth step, reflect for 3 minutes after reading. Do not close the Bible and rush to the next task. Sit for 3 minutes in silence thinking about what you just read. Let the wisdom settle. Ninth step, apply something during the day. Choose a principle from the chapter and try to apply it consciously that day. If you read about controlling the tongue, pay attention to your words. If you read about diligent work, work with excellence. Application transforms knowledge into wisdom. 10th step, on day 32, if the month has 31 days, you go back to Proverbs 1 and restart the cycle, because one reading is not enough. Wisdom needs repetition to penetrate deeply. Now the important precautions. First, Proverbs is not magical promise. When it says the lazy become poor, it does not mean every poor person is lazy. Proverbs describes general patterns, not universal laws without exception. Context matters. Second, Proverbs can be harsh. It calls people foolish, lazy, perverse. If you get offended easily, you will struggle. But remember, wisdom corrects because it loves. If you are never confronted, you never grow. Third, do not use Proverbs to judge others. It is easy to read and think, this describes so-and-so perfectly. Resist that temptation. Proverbs is a mirror for you, not a lens to judge others. Fourth, some parts of Proverbs are culturally specific to ancient Israel. When you encounter something that seems very distant, look for the principle behind it. The principle is usually universal, even when the specific application is not. Fifth, wisdom does not replace relationship with God. Proverbs is part of the Bible, but it is not the entire Bible. It teaches you to live well, but other books teach you about grace, redemption, sacrificial love. Proverbs is important, but it is part of a larger whole. Sixth, you will find repetitions. Some themes come back several times: money, tongue, laziness, wisdom versus foolishness. Do not skip thinking you already know. Each repetition adds a layer. Each angle reveals something new. Seventh, if you skip a day, do not give up. Simply read the chapter of the day you are on. Do not try to make up by reading multiple chapters at once. That defeats the purpose. One chapter per day. Deep absorption, not quick consumption. What is your biggest difficulty with wisdom? Is it pride that prevents you from admitting you need it? Is it impatience that wants immediate results? Is it fear of change? Tell me in the comments honestly. So we return to the initial question. What if you read one proverb a day for 31 straight days? The truth is, you will realize how much you have been living on autopilot, making decisions without thinking, following impulses without wisdom. Proverbs is like waking from a trance. Suddenly you see patterns that were always there, but you were blind to them. You see consequences before committing them. You recognize toxic people before getting deeply involved. You understand that your small choices today create your big reality tomorrow. This is not mystical revelation. It is practical wisdom. But it is powerful because it is true, and truth applied transforms lives. These 31 days will not make you perfect. They will not solve all your problems. They will not make you rich or famous. But they will do something more valuable. They will give you foundation. They will teach you solid principles on which you can build meaningful life. And in a world where everyone is building on sand, on passing trends and social media wisdom, having solid rock foundation sets you apart completely. Solomon wrote that the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord, and the end of wisdom is living well, not just surviving, not just existing, but living with purpose, integrity, and impact. 31 days, 31 chapters, thousands of years of condensed wisdom waiting to transform you, if you let it. If you are going to do this challenge, comment, "I will seek wisdom." And if you know someone making bad decisions, repeating mistakes, desperately needing wisdom but not knowing where to find it, share this video. It might be the turning point that person needs. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week there is a new challenge in the what-if style. Ancient practices that still transform because they are based on eternal truths about human nature. And there is a video right here that appeared for you for a reason. Click on it. Walk in faith, live with wisdom, and join us for the next What If. May your search for wisdom be sincere and transformative.